Hey everybody, welcome back to what is now part 2. Slightly different angle now, as we're going to try and approach it from above my shoulder. We were whittling a little office worker from 1B1 basswood. You can see here. Hopefully you can see what I'm seeing. You're on my shoulder, so I can't actually see the camera. But these are the guys we're trying to copy. This is the fella we were doing and where we got to with him. Just gonna open one of the blinds because I think the light might be a bit dark there. It's difficult trying to get the light right on these. That's a bit better, I think. Okay, so we are going to put a collar on him. That's what we're going to do next. So we're going to go in here. Just going to round our cuts all the way around. Just to make a ridge. And we've got to make sure that we've got enough room for some shoulder blades, because this 1x1 is obviously quite narrow to fit a full character in. I'm going to try and keep these videos a little bit shorter, as much for the uploading time as anything else. And I probably won't do the back side of him, because I think if you can do the front, it'll be self-explanatory what you need to do on the back. So we're just going to cut this collar in, this little guy. Okay, so we'll get a little bit closer there. Try and get both left and right looking similar as you go along, just to make it look just a bit easier. Because we haven't got much room to play, we're going to need a shoulder, so we don't want to lose too much wood. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut in here, make a defined line around that collar. That collar could have been smaller in theory. Okay, same on the other side. The camera is actually attached to my chair, so apologies if we're wobbling a little bit as we go. Okay. So we're going to want to shape that more like a collar, so it's not looking quite so much like a turtleneck. Same on the other side. Of course, you could have left that as a turtleneck if you wanted to do it like that. That would have been pretty cool. And then we're going to cut a collar in here. So we're just going to go straight down the collar, and then we're going to take a triangle here, just leaving a little gap, because we're going to use some of that for a tie. So we're going to do the same the other side. And you should be able to see there, we have left a little gap for a tie. We're just going to sort of shape that. Also little triangle cuts. Try and move that shape down in size. Into the collar. Trying to keep it squarish. And we can shape that about a little bit to be the knot on our tie. Just shape that collar as well. Okay. We've got a nice gouge. What would be a good idea is to run it up here. A couple left one in the other room. To get that sort of collary look. Just going to roll my knife on it to get a similar sort of look. But that would look better with a gouge and quicker. To get that sort of shirt look. We're going to take this front edge off now, and we're going to catch up, bring that right up to the tie. And we need to be a little bit careful not to remove these shoulders, because we're working off such a narrow piece, only being 1 by 1, that we need that width. Otherwise it's just going to look too narrow and we're not going to get a full character in. So we kind of need that width. So what I tend to do here is try and roll off what would be the sort of collarbone area. Try and keep some of that width in there. And then just kind of go around those shoulders a little bit, because there's no avoiding that. Just go into that shirt area again. Just clean that up a little bit. There we go. Roll this cut in here just to try and get that difference between where his chest is coming out, the tie, and his arms. So we're almost making that tie without actually making that tie, if that makes sense, because we're just rolling our cuts on either side. And by doing so, we are creating that tie, and then we're just going to take a couple of cuts on the corners of the tie. That will stick, make that start that way. We can stick that out a little bit. Okay, because we've made those roll cuts down, our tie is almost where it needs to be already. And give that some shape. try and clean that area up. I could have done that quite a bit cleaner than I did. That's fine. We can go back over that several times if we need to. Anyway, you get the gist of what I'm doing there, just cleaning that up, making that look a little bit more like a shirt collar. We can round, now we've got the wood in place for the tie, we can just round that off, make the shapes that we want to make for the tie. We've got that in place. Let's just finish this tie shape. Let's go to about there. I think we'll do. Again, just roll it where the arms are. That'll give us a kind of give us our shoulder area. And take the corners off. I wanted to avoid taking too much off here. And then what we've got to do is establish where his hands are going to go in his pockets. So just going to flatten this out a little bit. So we've got the bottom of his tie. Let's grab a pencil to make this a little bit more easier to see. So we got his tie, we've got his shirt. So I would suggest his tie's not going to go all the way down. So we're going to go about there. His trousers, I think that'd be about right. So if his trousers there, his hands are going to go into his trousers. So that's about right. So we want to kick that up a touch. So we're thinking that his hands are going to be about here into his pockets. So we don't want to remove too much wood here. At the same time, to give that illusion that his hands are filling up his pockets, we're going to want to go immediately in here. So it gives that impression that his hands have sort of filled his pockets. So we want to go in here, keeping it similar both sides. Want to leave a little bit of wood at the bottom because that's going to be like our stand. And we're going to have his feet roughly in this sort of area. So that's that penciled out. So what we'll do is we'll come in immediately where we think the hand will come into the pocket. Just shake that a little bit. And we'll do the other side as well. Took this front edge off, so we're going to have his feet. So So his feet were pretty much where we marked them. I'm going to run this, just take this edge off here. Okay, so we're going to go for his trouser line now. Just going to cut from where his shirt tucks into his trousers. Just shape the trousers up and into that area. So it's got like a shirt overhang. And then we're going to need where the shirt, just a little indentation here, which will be where the hands go into the pocket and the shirt overhangs the pocket. And then we just follow that line in. Okay. Again, just try and master some of these roll cuts just to give it a bit of shape so he's not looking too flat. And now what we've got to try and do is give the illusion that his arms aren't just completely straight and flat and straight into the pocket, and we're going to do that via a couple of cuts or creases. We're going to give it some creases. So we'll do that first. We'll roughly be aiming for his elbow-ish, and we'll come down with like a V cut and we'll cut it in. Okay, so it's like that. And then we want likewise on the other side. And then we go both up and above. We want to cut very similar, but aiming in towards the one you just done. Keeping it quite small. So that's that one there. It's just a V cut again, but aiming down and in towards the first one we done. Okay, so that's just giving the illusion of the arms. If we can get a nice roll cut in there, that arm is almost, on this side, is almost completely separated. We can drag that down and into the pocket if we wanted to, like so. And then just follow that around. We wouldn't want to go too deep at this stage. So it's careful cuts. And then we could just cut that one into the pocket and shape this one around it a little bit to suggest that's where that one was going. Okay. this one be the same. So we're going to go similar position, running that down towards the pocket. I'm just coming in, taking that slice out there. Just angling that inwards to get it, to give it some better movement. And again, a couple of cuts just to make that look like that hand is fitting into that pocket, and this pocket just to be shaped like so. Like I say, we're not going to go around the back. We can go around the back, we can do that later. So now the top of the trousers, we're going to shape down and into the feet. My knife just needs a quick strop. Good. Swap knives. Give this fella a little bit of an overhang. Kind of round off some of these cuts for the arm. Try and get those V-cuts to be going into the corner. So it's looking like a elbow sort of effect. Just rounding it so it's not quite sort of square. And we're going to want to make this pocket kind of look like a swell. If you've got a gouge to hand, that would be better, because we could just literally just follow the line that we drew. That slight swelling of the hand into the pocket. And remember, we want this pocket to stand out a little bit from the rest of the carving. And that pocket to be a swell. Swap blades now from a detail knife to a rough out knife, so my blade length is somewhat longer. And we're going down and into the shoe area. Like so. So with our gouge, we can just run that up alongside the shoulders just to give it a bit of shape. Get away from any sharp cuts. So, I think the battery is about to go on my phone, so we may well have to stop this one here, but if I can just get that, I wasn't happy with this side arm. That gouge will just give it a little bit more of a indentation look. I needed to strap my nose a bit better, so you can now see that we're in a situation now where we've got the arms separated. We can take this. We've got these creases on this side to come in on the shirt. We can take that in a little bit deeper if we need to. We are nearly there. This side needs to come in quite a bit more. To really get that look. The hands in the pockets. Okay, still needs a little bit more shaping around that pocket area. I think that's a bit better. Same on this side. Just keep shaping it until you're happy with the shape you've got from that pocket. Could even do the same thing with our gouge again, just to give a little bit of separation. Like so. This one's a little bit deeper than the other one. So we are nearly there. Nearly there. With our 1-inch whittled stick man. We can do the next one, we will cut in his feet, but will be more about painting him and finishing him. So what we're going to do with the feet is effectively just, let's just do it quickly now a minute. We'll cut down so we've got a bit of a stand for him. We don't have much room there. So we'll cut around all like that, all the way around. So we end up with feet a little bit like that on him. Then we'll also do an indentation on his shoes. His shoes are, and then we can paint him. This guy's quite thickly painted. This one was more of a wash. And then we can, this one was waxed. This one was sprayed. So we can look at those options as well. Okay, so that's what we've got with him. So we will go into a third one. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope we've learned something. We're nearly there. Thanks.